Hello and welcome back to my video. I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded in a while. I fell sick. Well, I sounded sick. My nose was all stuffy, and every time when I talked, my voice got clogged. Anyways, let's get on to the video, and this is a Dream XYN Revenge. Credit goes to Instrumental Break. Also, I might be also doing another Yellow Enderman. There is a Technoblade one. I don't know. I might read it. It's a SFW, not safe for work. But if you would like me to read it, please can we try to get this video to like a few likes or like a few views. Anyways, let's get on to the video. Story. Same thing. Dream. Okay, Clay, seriously. Where are we going? Clay smiled at me from the driver's seat, a mischievous glint in his eye. I told you it was a surprise. I rolled my eyes and he laughed. Clay had picked me up today and he had a surprise for me, but wouldn't tell me what it was. At first I thought maybe George and Sapnap were in town, and then I realized I already knew they were here this week, and I figured we were probably meeting up with them. What I didn't understand was that Clay knew that I knew they were here, so why wouldn't meeting up with them be a surprise? Finally, we pulled into a little parking lot of a restaurant I had seen in passing before. It was a little pizza place called Fredbear's Diner, but I had never actually been there. I laughed as we pulled in, and Clay smirked again. He turned to me as we parked. So as you know, Sapnap and George are in town this week. He nodded, and he said, and I nodded. So today we're meeting up with them for the day. There was a moment of silence in the car. Clay, I knew that. He laughed. I know, I just thought I'd get really excited first. I smacked him on the shoulder as he continued to laugh at me. Dude, why didn't you just tell me? That's mean, I said, crossing my arms and pouting. He continued to laugh at me until someone banged on his window, causing us both to jump. We looked out to see Sapnap or Nick waving at us with a grin, and George laughing in the background. We hugged and greeted one another and went into the diner to get food. We split a cheese pizza while laughing and chatting. Also, guys, Nick said, sitting up after George had finished telling the story. Also, a laser tag place next door. We have to go. I glanced at Clay, who smiled. That sounds like fun, George exclaimed, clapping. We all laughed and agreed to head over there. We got what was left of our lunch boxed up and threw it in Clay's car and walked over as a group to the laser tag place. It was really fun to see Clay hanging out with his two closest friends. I obviously knew them well, but seeing him finally spending time with them in person was admiring. He had the biggest smile on his face the whole time, and they got along like they had known each other their whole lives. We finally arrived at the laser tag place, and Clay held the door open for us all. The employee at the front desk greeted us with the fakest smile I have ever seen, and asked how many were in our party. Just us four, Nick said, in the employee side. We do teams here and normally have more people go in at once. Do you still want to go? Do you still want to go, or do you want to wait for someone else to come? We glanced at each other. I think it will be fun to go against each other. George shrugged, and we all agreed. The employee side tapping something on the computer. Alright, you guys get 2 rounds. If need be, we can do a third for a tiebreaker. You can split up into 2 teams. We all looked at each other for a moment. Clay reached over and took my hand, opened his mouth to say something, but was cut off by Nick. I don't think so. You two see each other every day and probably have some sort of mental bond. I don't know. That's an unfair advantage. Clay, your team was George. George and Nick laughed while I rolled my eyes and Clay chuckled. That's not how it works, but sure. George and I will kick your ass. I gasped, taking my hand out of his. Then you're going down, Green Man, I snapped, walking over to stand next to Nick. He laughed and high-fived me, and we all followed the employee to get our guns and vests. After everyone was set, the employee opened the black curtain to reveal a dark room with glow-in-the-dark paint on the walls. Each round is 10 minutes. Each team has a station in the back corner of the room where you can refill your weapon, so you only have 30 shots in at a time. Just press the weapon against the circle of your team's color. Your team receives a point for every 5 shots. You hit the other team with there are scenarios on both the front and back of your vest, so you can shoot someone who isn't facing you. If you get hurt, the company is not labeled for anything. Have fun, I guess. We filled into the room, and Nick and I already made our way to the red station. It was hard to see completely, but that definitely added an element of insanity to the game. As we began to put our weapons against our station, a sound played over the speakers in the room. Round 1 begins in 30 seconds. Okay, I have a plan, but you have to trust me on it, Nick said after we finished filling up our weapons. What? I asked, and we crouched down behind the wall. I'm going to rush George when he comes this way and shoot him a few times. I know Clay is going to attempt to come at us from behind, so I want you to meet him at the wall and distract him. My eyes widened. What? I hissed, and Nick laughed. Nothing weird, you're gross. Just make him flustered, then shoot him a few times and run away. As much as I want to yell at Nick, it was a good idea. I rolled my eyes. Okay, fine. He grinned proudly, and the countdown began. 5. I adjusted my vest and stood up, still covered by the wall. 4. Nick nodded to me from the other side of the wall, holding his gun against his chest. 3. I took a deep breath, preparing to run. 2. I could hear the instant music starting to play in the background as I planned my pathway to the wall. 1. I darted from my barrier and started weaving between different obstacles while I heard Nick start on his way to the blue side of the room. As I reached the outside wall, I realized Nick was right. I could see Clay attempting to sneak around to our side without being noticed. How exactly was I going to make him flustered? He would shoot me as soon as I made myself known, right? He was getting closer and closer, still clearly unaware I was here. I took a deep breath and decided to just go for it. Clay, I whispered, hiding behind a wall in an attempt to protect my vest. Sure enough, his weapon came up and aimed at me, but he realized quickly he was unable to shoot me from there. This is not how you play the game, he laughed, lowering his gun. I giggled, coming out from behind the wall. This was working. What if I don't want to play? I pouted and stepping closer to him. He raised an eyebrow. Huh? Soon we were close enough I could feel the heat coming off of his body. I ran my fingers through his hair with a slight smile. I like just being here with you. I cringed entirely because I desperately just wanted to shoot him, but I could see Nick's idea was working. Clay's cheeks turned pink and he looked at me with a mix of confusion and encourage. I moved my hand down to his face and gently caressed his cheek with my thumb, something I always did when we were close together. I can't say I mind, he whispered, and I smiled coolly. Good, I whispered back, and he put an arm around my waist. Now was the time. I pulled back and quickly pinned up my weapon, landed almost 10 straight shots into the chest sensor of his vest, and ran away. So the last thing I saw was him stand there confused and frozen. The round continued, and you could see Clay was definitely not on top of his game, as Nick managed to land a ton more shots on both him and George, leaving us in the lead for round 1. When the round finished, we separated with a high five, while George frustratingly questioned Clay on why he hadn't been trying as hard. The employee pulled us out and was reclabbing our vests, while Nick and George smack talked one another. Clay came out to me as I watched the two fight, laughing. That was sneaky, Miss Arrow. Miss Wan, he said, raising an eyebrow and crossing his arms. I grinned. I don't know what you're talking about. He rolled his eyes. You better watch out next round. You'll regret playing me like that. I raised an eyebrow. Or really, I stood up and crossed my arms. Bring it. The countdown began just as Nick and I devised a new plan. We knew they would intend to change their plan up after being fooled last time, so we made sure to adapt to whatever they were going to do. After the countdown finished, the game began. I started to fall on the very back wall to get into the blue side of the room. Nick figured Clay would probably be hanging around there somewhere, while George played offense instead. So I should try to ambush him from behind. I reached the blue base, and sure enough, spotted Clay waiting near the blue filling station. I tried to sneak around so I was behind him, but he was ready this time and spawned me right away. Hi, he said, pointing his gun at me. Not so sneaky now, huh? I ducked behind one of the barriers and made sure my vest was blocked. I am plenty sneaky, I hissed, and he chuckled. He put his gun down, and I looked at him suspiciously. Let's talk, okay? He said, and I shook my head. Look, the gun is down. Just step out for a second. He put his hands up while his gun dangled down at his side, and I thought for a moment. This had to be a trap. It had to be. But still, I stepped out from behind the barrier I was at and watched him. In a second, he crossed the distance between us and was right in front of me. I lied. I don't want to talk, he whispered, and before I knew it, he had me pinned against the wall behind me. The air exceeded my lungs as I gasped, feeling his hand against my shoulder and the cold wall against my back. Huh? I tried to say something, but words wouldn't come out. He smiled shyly, his body pressed against mine in the dark. I could feel my heart racing and my cheeks heating up, and he noticed too. Clay looked down at me with eyes that quite literally could have made my lungs give out, if it weren't from him and the wall keeping me up. I had never seen him take control like this. There was so much power in his eyes. Any function in my brain had stopped working. He looked into my eyes for a moment, and the world around us disappeared before I felt something press against my chest. The familiar sound of the fake laser gun shooting filled my ears, and before I even could process it, he shot me a few more times and ran away. I stood against the wall, completely flustered and confused. He used my own tactic against me, that bastard. I tried to gather myself as much as I could when Nick came around the corner. Dude, what the hell happened? He asked as I tried to make my breathing normal again. He sighed. Damn it, he used it against you, didn't he? I looked up at him and nodded, still unable to form coherent sentence. The game ended, and sure enough, George and Clay got such a huge lead that it wasn't even worth attempting a third round. That they had destroyed Nick and I. George and Nick continued to argue after our game and went back in to do a 1v1, while Clay and I sat in a little line of waiting chairs. I still couldn't get the thought of him acting like that out of my head. The feeling of him holding me against the wall like that, the look in his eyes, the sheer power he had in that moment. It was so attractive, he chuckled at me while I stared off into space, reminiscent on that moment. How does it feel to lose to your own tactic, he teased, and I rolled my eyes. Shut up, I said, crossing my arms. I do have to admit, he said, putting a finger under my chin and moving my head so I would look up at him. You did a number on me. I smiled. Good. You smart. I seem to have done a number on you too. I shrugged. My heart fluttered as he watched me with those eyes. Right now, they were common and ashamed and amused, but even just seeing them like this brought me back to the look they had before. He searched my eyes, reading me like a book as I blushed. Maybe I should act like that more often, he chuckled. You're cute when you're all flushing like this. He gently pressed his lips against mine, passion rating off of both of us. All I wanted was to be close like we had been in that game. Pressed up against each other while he had me again. Unfortunately, Nick and George coming out of the laser tag room arguing again broke our moment and we quickly separated. That's not fair. I was just my best and he sneak attacked me, George wanted while Nick laughed. No, I won fair and square. You're just a sore loser. Clay and I looked at each other, rolling our eyes and laughed. It was going to be a long week with these two. Okay, that is the end of the story, and remember, the all credit goes to Instrumental Break from Wattpad, and I hope you guys like this video, and I would also upload I would probably also upload tomorrow or again today. Anyways, I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.